Becoming her broke me first. 6 months ago, I decided to change my identity. And what does that mean? That means my habits, my routine, my mindset, the way I thought about things. To become someone you've never been, you have to change those things. Nothing changes if nothing changes. We've all heard that before. And the reason I chose to change my identity is because I wanted to really go after the highest version of myself that I've always dreamed about since I was little. But what I didn't expect was all the internal work that it would take to get me to this point. 6 months ago, when I decided to do this, I thought it was going to be so aesthetic. Immediately, it was going to be routines, habits. I got this on lock. I'm going to have a new morning routine, a new after work routine. I'm going to be able to stick to it. Glowing skin, always waking up early, easily in the morning, sunshine and butterflies. So instead of a perfect world like that, what ended up happening was things started to surface, things that I didn't know I was carrying, wounds that I had since childhood, fears of success, which I thought was baloney. I never thought I had that. I've always heard about that, but I'm like, that's not me. I guess it might be a little bit. So my experience with becoming this identity was I was doing the habits, I was doing the routines, but it was kind of like a check off the list kind of thing. It wasn't embodied. It didn't feel like I was that type of person who would do those things. I was just doing them. Do you feel the difference there? One is actually being in your body, being present, enjoying what you're doing, while the other one is just doing the movements to say we did them. And I couldn't figure out how to blend the two, or not even blend the two. I had to figure out how to go from just checking it off, just doing it, to being that type of person who would do all those things. So for the past 6 months, what it kind of looked like was something would come up, something would surface inside me. I would either do a releasing meditation specifically. I would listen to what kind of thoughts were coming up of, oh, I'm never going to be that type of person who does this. I'm never going to get it right. I'm never going to be consistent with this, and reframe it with a growth mindset of, well, I fell off today, but every day is a new day to keep going. This growth, uphill progress type of mindset versus a limiting lack mindset, because I was realizing that that type of mindset was going to keep me there. And in the past, whenever I wanted to set a goal for myself, that type of mindset kept me there. For the last 6 months, it felt like something new would surface, a fear, a lack mindset, and everything like that. Something would pop up. I would have to release it. I would have to unlearn something and then relearn it in a way that would keep me on track with that growth mindset. It felt like it was falling apart this whole 6 months, but really what it was anything that came up, of course, I had to peel it back to the base and put it back together with new ways of thinking. So it always felt like I can never just be a constant tug of war of being unlearning this and that, which I now am realizing was internal work. Back then, it felt like a struggle. Nothing was going to change. I kept going though. I kept pushing through it. But now, coming from the other side of it, I now know that I did shadow work. I didn't even know that that was shadow work until now, because now I feel like her. I have the mindset of her. I can continue as her. But in the thick of it, it really felt like I was. So let's put it in this perspective. Let's say there's this building, right? And you have to take it apart brick by brick and then rebuild that building up with new beliefs, new ways of thinking, new routines, right? And then you're like, wow, I'm all done. Oh, there we go. And then another one comes up, another building, and you have to do that one, which this represents a new fear that comes up. And for example, fear of success, a fear of being seen, a fear of commitment, whatever it is. You unlearn it and then you put it back together with something that's going to benefit you, something that works for you. For me, it all had to do with being seen, my worthiness, knowing that I'm worthy. And so with that analogy, you are building new little buildings for yourself, but there's all these other buildings that have been made in the past that you have to destroy, break down, and then rebuild. So it felt like you were breaking down. When you're in the process of a new identity, it just feels like you're breaking down. And you don't know when it's going to stop. I didn't know when it was going to stop. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I get a break? Can I? But I will say something that I did notice, which was a sigh of relief, was that the more that I kept doing this, there would be a snippet of a day. There would be one day where I was her, And when I say her, I mean that it was so effortless for me to do my routines. It was so effortless for me to do my habits, to just be. And it felt like that highest version of myself that I've always envisioned. To speak like her, to dress like her, to move like her. So I'd have a day like that. Oh my gosh, I'm getting closer. But then another building, one of those other things would come up, and I had to keep building and building. I'd say the first time I embodied her for one day was after a month. The time in which I would embody her kept getting shorter and shorter. The more that I worked on myself, the more I did internal work, the more that I kept showing up for myself, and the more I kept going. There were so many times that I felt lost, discouraged, and alone because I don't have anyone around me right now that's going through this, who commits to changing their identity. I only have myself to talk to about this. And you guys, the few people that do watch this, I want to talk about it because I know I'm not the only one going through it. But there were a lot of times where I would cry. And in those moments where I felt discouraged and I was alone, those thoughts that I worked on would come up of just give up. Why are you even doing this? You can never be her. And it's specifically in those vulnerable moments that I had to think differently, accept the feelings of being discouraged, of it being hard, accept it, and continue anyway. So, like I said, in the 6 months, there were different insecurities, fear, inner child wounds that did surface, and I had to peel back those layers in order to get to the core version of myself, of just being. And I think that was my breaking point, actually. Once I peeled everything back and did the work, did the meditations, released things, cried. Once I got to the root and I realized that I don't have to do anything but be. There's nothing to do in this world but just be. I don't have to do these things. And at that moment, it switched my brain. I can just be these things. And I know it's easier said than done. No shit, you can just be. But dude, it took all of that to realize this world, you can just do anything. You can really just do anything. Of course, there are social consequences if you do choose to do a lot of things. But for most of the things, especially the things that I want to do, girl, I can just do them. So what? And that right there, it took a while to get to this point. So what? And I'm so proud of myself. Once I peeled everything back and I got to the core of just being, I realized I can be anything because I already took away the unworthiness. I already took away the fear of being seen. I already took away all of that stuff that kept me so closed off, so stagnant and slow. I get to shine through. I could just be. I can just create. I want to really emphasize that the real transformation didn't happen in the habits and in the routines and everything, because I was trying to do that, right? For 6 months, I would show up and do them, but that wasn't the transformation. The transformation happened when I focused internally, even when it felt like I was regressing, even when it felt like I was alone. It was all about who I was becoming inside, or not even becoming, who I was returning to inside, really. It felt like a beat down. So if you're in the trenches and you're trying to change and it feels like life is beating you down and you keep showing up and you know you're learning things, you're on the right path. It's gonna feel rough. It's funny now, especially because I know 6 months ago, I didn't know that I was gonna go through all that internal work. I thought I had it good. I thought I had it easy. I thought it was gonna be like, I got this. Little did I know that I was gonna be beaten down, opened up over and over and over again until I got to the base core of me and remembered who I really am underneath the noise, the wounds, the conditionings. Who knew? And that's how I know that the next 6 months are going to bear fruit. All that internal work to get to the core of who I am and what I want and how to just be that. Now I know how to do that. Guess what these next 6 months are going to bring? The results, they're going to result. There are so many things that I'm going to be working on and bringing to this channel, and there's a lot of things that I'm already working on. For example, on my page, I have a no looking at my body for 60 days. I believe that's going to be up in the middle of August. I think I'm out. I haven't seen my body for around 1 month now. At the same time as that, I started working out 2 weeks ago. I am on week 3 on my journey to get abs. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss how I do those things, what I'm doing to do them, my experience with them. And there's going to be a lot of different themes about becoming her. I'm actually going to be starting a Becoming Her series, and that's going to be revolving around everything that I've always wanted in my life. And through me, I'm hoping to inspire someone out there to become their version of what her is. This is just what my version of what her is. But I know that everyone has their different versions of her, and you should go for it. I'm showing this video specifically because the first 6 months I did the internal work, didn't even know I was going to need to do the internal work. I thought it was just going to go straight to the her. I had to do the internal work. I was forced to. And now the next 6 months, the results are going to result. I'm already working up in the gym, got on the Stairmaster. I'm still on the Stairmaster. And it's not hard for me to get on the Stairmaster like it used to be. Like I would just give up. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go next time. It's just one day I'm skipping, but then it turns into 2 weeks, into a month. Okay. It literally is so easy for me to get up on the Stairmaster. And I never thought I would say that because the Stairmaster is my enemy. Not anymore though. I actually feel really empowered on that thing. Anyway, so I'm going to be bringing in a lot of videos on becoming her, and I'm ready to take you guys along with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and that if anything sounded like something you're going through, trust in my process. You see where I am now, and know that that is coming for you as well. Just keep on going, keep doing your inner work, keep showing up. You literally got it in the bag. We all got this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.